Some people say that 6-liter Powerstrokes aren't reliable, but I'm pretty sure that our crew cab dually 6.0 Powerstroke blew head gaskets about 7,000 miles ago, and it's still working hard for us. So today we're going to be bulletproofing our 6-liter Powerstroke tow rig. We're going to be studding it, doing new head gaskets, new heads, and doing some upgrades while we're in there. All right, guys, so we have the engine out. We have it prepped, torn down, ready for some maintenance and upgrades. So we're going to first start with the lifters. These are hydraulic roller lifters. So they have a roller on the bottom that has needle bearings inside of it, and then they're a hydraulic lifter on top. We're going to be replacing these with OEM Ford lifters. The reason we're doing this is good preventative maintenance. We're this far in, and while we're at it, gets the best of us. They are known to fail. This is a higher mileage motor. The truck has 240,000 miles on it. So I'm going to replace them while I'm in here. The needle bearings can fail, they can crack, fall apart, and then it destroys your cam, and a lot of bad things can happen. So OEM part, we got new hold downs. We got the lifters soaking in oil to try and get all the air out of them. Those have been soaking for numerous days now. The thing with doing lifters, though, and why most people don't do them when you do a bulletproof job or a head gasket job, studding, is because in order to get the lifters out, you need to remove a branch tube. And the branch tube takes your high pressure oil pump, which is this here. This has a gear on it that rides off your cam, that rides off your crank. And this pumps oil to your injectors through this fitting here, and that attaches to the branch tube in the back. That goes here, that goes up to your standpipes, and then to your injector system. So that's part of the Huey injector system. So you need to remove this branch tube. Now, to remove the branch tube, you have to remove the rear timing cover, which is your rear main and all that, so that you can pull the branch tubes and slide them out the back. Now, that is what is making this job so involved. Is I removed it from the truck so that I could get that off. That's your flex plate off and everything, so that we can just pull that out, just so I can get to these rear set of lifters, because the branch tube hold down is the same hold down that holds those lifters, and there's no way to finagle it out of the way or anything. So you have to pull that branch tube if you want to do lifters. So we're going to get these replaced, get the OEM ones in there, new hold downs, get the branch tube reinstalled, and get everything back torqued to spec, and move on with our upgrades. Okay, so now we're moving into some upgrades. So we're going to talk about studs. So these are head studs that we're replacing the OEM head bolts with. This is ARP's kit. These are ARP 425s, ARP 2000s. There's a couple different names for them. This is their tried and true head stud that a lot of 6-liter guys have used. They do have a higher package than this, the 625s. But really, for your daily driver, your tow rig, you don't need those. These will work just fine for what you need. So this is what we're going to be running in this. This head stud is going to be replacing our head bolts. These do not stretch as easy. They are not torqued to yield like our original factory head bolts are. These can be torqued multiple times. We have the assembly lubricant from them, and then we have the washers and nuts for these studs as well. A couple of tips when you're installing these: when you go into the cylinder head, you need to make sure that those holes are clean. Especially when you pull off the head, you typically get oil down in there. You need to vacuum that out, clean it out with brake clean, make sure those threads are clean so you don't have this stopping at some point halfway down and it's not fully engaged. And then you don't want to screw it all the way down into the head until it stops. You want to go down until it stops, and then you want to back it off a little bit. That puts all your pressure on your threads and uses the stud as it's designed to, not going all the way down. That blind hole could be slightly crooked and affect how you're torquing your stud. So we have the head studs for your main areas. And then for the inner bolts on these 6 liters, they have an M8 bolt. ARP has a kit for that as well. So we're going to be running that for the smaller M8 bolts that go on top there. And then we have our mating surface for our head gasket cleaned. We used a razor and some Scotch-Brite on a long flat piece of wood, and that allowed us to clean off and get the surface prepped for our head gasket. Obviously, the ideal situation is to have this decked, but we're not tearing this engine all the way down to where we would take this to the machine shop. So we're going to do the best we can with what we got. And then we're going to be using OEM Ford head gaskets. So these are what would originally have come on the truck. They lasted 240,000 miles. I've always had good success with going OEM. There are a lot of aftermarket options as well, but I prefer the OEM. So that's what I'm going to go with on this truck. So we have OEM gaskets, new dowels to hold the head in place. Speaking of the cylinder head, this is essentially a remanufactured head. This is an aftermarket casting. There are 2 different heads for 6 liters. There's the early 18 millimeter dowels and then the later 20 millimeters as they were making updates to these engines. So the early 03, 04 and a half and early 05s were 18 millimeters, and then they switched to the 20. So that's the difference just from the dowel here. Some of them are 18 mil, some are 20. These are aftermarket 20 millimeter heads. The reason aftermarket is they improved upon a lot of the issues that the OEM ones would have, where the injector cups like to crack, and the other issues that 20 millimeters would have as well. So this theoretically fixes all of that. We also have them O-rings. So the stainless steel rod is placed into a groove that's been cut into the head after it's been decked. This has also had a valve job, new valve stem seals. So these are going to be perfect for what we need with this whole setup to eliminate the issue of the head gasket being able to blow out. With the O-rings here, we're going to have extra clamping force around the cylinder that's going to keep those gases in there and from blowing into the coolant system. And of course, matched up with the head studs, this is almost the best situation for keeping these heads on this 6 liter and keeping it from blowing head gaskets. And now we're going to talk about another maintenance item. So this is your oil cooler. This sits down in here in a pool of oil, and they have coolant running through it, and it cools your oil, keeps it within spec. Typically within 15 degrees of your coolant temperature is ideal. And why are we doing this? Well, we're this far in. As with anything, as with the lifters, while we're at it, we're going to do the oil cooler. I've already replaced the oil cooler in this truck when I first bought it years ago with an OEM one, and Ford no longer makes their own oil coolers anymore. So I'm forced to look at some other aftermarket options. This is PPE's oil cooler. It is very affordable, seems to be a good quality, and heard great things about it. But I suggest using OEM gaskets. So we're going to be using Ford's oil cooler gaskets with a PPE oil cooler itself. I've had great success with OEM gaskets and O-rings, so we're going to stick with that. I haven't had great success with aftermarket ones. So we're going to be replacing this and making sure that the oil to coolant deltas in this truck stay within spec. And this is also, or can be, the root cause of head gasket failure. When we go all the way back, this, if you have an OEM EGR cooler, one that runs underneath your intake manifold and would be factory emissions on this truck, the coolant goes through this, cools your oil, and then goes into your EGR cooler and then back through the system. If this is clogged and your coolant temps are higher than normal coming out of this, they can go into your EGR cooler, and the factory ones can crack and fail, thus putting coolant into your intake manifold that can push the heads off your cylinders and blow your head gaskets. One of a few ways that these 6 liters can blow gaskets. So this can be the root cause of blown head gaskets in a 6 liter. So we're going to be replacing this while we're in here. Good preventative maintenance. Even though I've replaced my oil cooler once before, there's still sand in these blocks from when they were manufactured, and that's what can clog these. It can also be not replacing the coolant or maintaining the system. So I believe that as I've already replaced the oil cooler, I've gotten most of the sand out, and then I think that one was slightly clogged as well. So when I'm this far in, I'm just going to do it and put a fresh one in there, and I'm sure all the contaminants are going to be gone, and I should have no issues. So we're going to get this attached and installed into the cleaned oil cooler housing that I have. We're going to put the OEM gaskets, get that all torqued to spec, and get that installed in here. And this is where we get a bit controversial. So we're going to be putting a non-VGT setup or a non-variable geometry turbo setup on this truck. I absolutely love these setups. I've had it on the past few of my trucks. I like how they drive. I like how they tow. My EGTs are lower. My drive pressures are lower. So the back pressure before the turbo compared to the boost that it's creating, that ratio is very close to 1-to-1. So we're not having a lot of back pressure like I've had with a stock VGT setup or an aftermarket VGT setup. With this non-VGT setup, we have closer to a 1-to-1 ratio, which is better for head gaskets and heads. We don't have that pressure staying in the cylinder. This turbo size is a 363, so it's an S300 frame from Borg Warner, a 63 millimeter inducer or compressor. We have a 0.91 housing, pretty standard size. It spools really nice on this truck, even with stock fuel and a stock torque converter. It's not higher stall or anything like that, or stock fuel pump. Everything's stock besides swapping out this turbo. With proper tuning, that is key. Proper tuning, these trucks, I think, drive phenomenal. I've had them with not proper tuning, and you will hate them. But with good tuning, it makes a world of a difference for somebody who knows how to set up this type. And the sound is great. How they tow, everything just improves. So we're going to get this kit installed. This is a used kit I've had on one of my other trucks that I took off and put a stock setup to sell. This is a Harrington T4 kit. So you get a pedestal, the feed and drain lines, and then the T4 up pipes. So another might as well, while we're in there, this is a intake manifold. This is a ODOG Stage 2, so it still has all the provisions for an EGR cooler and the emissions, EGR valve, so you can be emissions compliant or not. And this is a pricier part, somewhere around $1,000, and there are some other options as well, but I really like the ODOG's construction. I've had this on other trucks. I think it really makes a difference, especially with our non-VGT turbo setup. This does help with spool as well. This is it's a completely different cast. Historically, for a ported intake on a 6-liter Powerstroke, people would cut the stock intake manifolds apart in half, cut out everything in the middle, port them, and then weld them back together. This is a completely different casting. It's designed to have straight through ports on each side. There's no pedestals for the bolts to go through. So it flows a lot better. You get better fuel economy and, of course, better power as well. So we're going to be installing this on this truck to help out with spool, EGTs, and everything just to make this a better driving truck, a better towing truck. All right, so got a bunch done. We got the cab back down onto the frame. We got the turbo installed, the intake manifold installed. We're doing a couple other upgrades. We did body mounts while we're at it. Well, actually, those needed to be done. Those were clunking and banging, and somebody's replaced them before and just didn't do a good job replacing them. So we got those replaced with silicone ones, so we never have to worry about those. And now we're on to the finishing touches, one being this intake. Now, this is overkill for this truck. This does not need this big of an intake. This is a 4-inch intake, gigantic air filter here. I got a good deal on Marketplace. Secondhand, never installed, so why not? It doesn't fit the greatest, but we're gonna make it work. And then we're going to route in the crankcase vent into it and then get the stock MAP sensor swapped over to it. Now this should help intake with spool and everything. It's not gonna make a huge difference, but maybe we'll get some more turbo noises since that stock one absorbs a lot of sound. We got this. We're gonna button up a few more things on the truck. This is the last of the upgrades. And this should be a nice final touch. Get this all finished up and get this truck back on the road.